Welcome. This is part 2 of a short series looking at Apple TV and Google TV via Chromecast. This time we're talking about the mobile side of both platforms and how they connect, and exploring accessory connections to your Apple TV hardware and Google TV Chromecast. Hey, if this video helps you, if any of the videos from any of my colleagues on the channel have helped you, go ahead and consider hitting us with a thumbs up, clicking that subscribe button, and hitting that notification bell so you'll be notified when we upload the latest content and when we hold our giveaways. We're giving away free stuff, y'all. Let's start with just opening the apps. You're going to hear the word seamless a lot in this comparison. Whatever screen you access these apps from, in my opinion, it shouldn't feel like you have to learn a whole new interface just because you're interfacing with a different device. There should be carryover elements so things feel familiar. And at first glance, Google does a better job of this with their tabbed headers at the top of the Google TV app. There are fewer of them, but the ones you're most likely to hit are there. For You, Movie, and Show. No live TV. The first tab, For You, begins with a carousel of popular and suggested content. Scrolling down from there gets you into content by categories after you pass their top picks for you and continue watching categories. For Apple, you get content from their Watch Now tab up top, no tabbed headers. Immediately featured are the Up Next category and What to Watch. One based on your viewing habits and the other suggestions based on these habits, and it would seem a bit of Apple pushing TV Plus content. Scrolling down takes you to other categories of content once you get past all of the Apple TV Plus's content. What I find interesting about this approach is that with Google, it feels more, googly. They're known for being the purveyors of all things search, so it doesn't feel as though they push any one thing like TV Plus does. But that's also because they aren't directly in the content business in the same way that Apple is. Google's app feels more like an open search and discovery of content from everywhere, from all the streams. Now, in terms of the rest of the content navigation, each platform picks up the rest of the tabs at the bottom of the interface. Again, Apple is also a production studio now, so you have a tab for their originals on TV Plus. Then, each platform gives you a tab for purchasing or renting content and a place to find content you've already purchased or rented, as well as content you've watch listed. Though Apple's watch list content is actually in the Up Next category of the Watch Now homepage. I think the best way to think of each app is this. Google TV is more like Google Search. Whenever you find something you want to watch directly on the app, you're going to need to have that content's actual app installed on the device you're going to be streaming from. You'll see when you click on the content, it prompts you to open the appropriate app, but right below that, it also tells you all the ways you can watch the show, which is really handy. Trying to watch in the Apple TV app, you're greeted with a full screen play option, which will launch the appropriate app. But if you scroll down past the trailers and related content, you're then greeted with other ways to watch the content. Apple TV is more like a streaming app than a search engine. Because Apple is also its own studio, like I said before, for its movies and shows, you can play them right from the app. You can download them to watch offline, and you can even share those special cinematic moments with family and friends via SharePlay. The other big difference between these apps and their TV interfaces is that on the TV, you're getting an operating system which you can add apps to. It isn't all about just interfacing with movies and TV on the TVs. There's also gaming and other apps to consider. For Chromecast, you may consider apps which add functionality to your TV, like iHeartRadio, Plex, Pandora Music, and Podcast Addict, and utilities like Solid Explorer, which is a file explorer app for Android with Chromecast support. And then there's gaming. Well, we'll get to that in a moment when we talk Google Gaming, Stadia, and Apple Arcade. Now, Apple's app offerings also include one platform offering which Google just can't compete with in Apple's Fitness Plus service. This connects your Apple TV with your Apple Watch for a massive catalog of high quality exercise routines. Your Apple Watch health metrics read out on the screen while you work out. I have a review of the service up here on the channel that you can check out. We'll leave a link to that in the description below. And just like on Chromecast, you have access to music apps like Apple Music and Pandora, but you can also do things like extend your Nest security cam access to your TV, book your next vacation via Kayak, or enjoy cheeky weather forecasts via Carrot Weather. Now, to be fair, you can get some solid exercise apps and videos on Chromecast, just not the level of ecosystem integration with fitness watches that Apple offers. Now, let's talk about accessorizing and interfacing with Apple TV and Chromecast and how the mobile apps fit in with that. In the first video, I showed you how you can add content to your watch list on mobile, but mobile app functionality goes well beyond that. Both mobile apps can be used as remotes, sort of. With Apple, the Apple TV app can be used to AirPlay content to the Apple TV, and you can control it on the mobile device from there.
Could you say that again?
No, I can't. I wasn't talking to you.
I couldn't hear what you said.
I know, but I wasn't talking to you. But like I said, you can AirPlay and control the content from there, but not the Apple TV itself. That said, iPhones and iPads both have remote utilities built in, accessed via Control Center, which replace the hardware remote which comes with your Apple TV. When you open up the Google TV app, it asks you which device you want to connect to, which in this case can be a smart TV or a Chromecast-enabled device or Chromecast device itself. Both can be used as a remote control for the TV unit itself. And like on the iPhone, some Android devices have a remote shortcut in the notification dropdown, which can be accessed, giving you remote control outside of the Google TV app or the hardware remote for Chromecast itself. And last notes here when it comes to adding accessories. I'm gonna breeze through this a bit because it could actually be its own video. Matter of fact, if you'd like to know more, let me know in the comments below and we'll consider making that happen. You can add gaming remotes to both Chromecast, some smart TVs, and Apple TV. For this example, I have an Xbox One controller here, connected to Apple TV and to TCL's Series 5 TV. Let's be real up front. You're not looking to do hardcore gaming on your TV streamer, but for casual gamers, both platforms offer a lot. Apple Arcade, excellent, releases new games weekly, and its standalone annual subscription cost is equivalent to one console game a year. All games can be downloaded and played offline. There are no ads or in-game purchases, and you can share that sub with up to 6 family members. Apple has over 200 games available. Just be careful because some Apple games require MFI-supported controllers. And Apple Arcade doesn't have any flagship games. It does have some titles which impart a familiar sense of nostalgia in 2D fighters like Punch Planet. And of course, you can buy games outside of Apple Arcade, ones you can download through the App Store like Rayman Adventures, but it does have in-app purchase options like another fan favorite, Dungeon Hunter. Chromecast also gives you some subscription service gaming as well as a la carte options in Stadia and Google Play games, though you'll likely be casting some games to your Chromecast as the Android games with Chromecast support outnumber those made specifically for Chromecast. And I'll also say that when it comes to games and accessing them, Apple has done a much better job here. Google TV doesn't even have a games category in the Google TV menu, though it'll tell you in the search box that you can search for apps and games. The upside is that once you get Stadia up and running, you're going to have access to some major games on your Chromecast or Smart TV. Games like Assassin's Creed, Destiny 2, and Cyberpunk 2077, though I haven't taken the time yet to really put them through their paces and see if playing them via Stadia on a Chromecast or Smart TV is actually worth it. And for Stadia games, you'll have to browse and buy those games through the mobile app, then go back to your Chromecast or TV or Chromecast and TV where they'll show up for play. And honestly, the best way to find games on the Android side is to do it all by the mobile app. Then once you know what you're looking for, come back to the TV and search for that specific game, then buy and install. Like I said, Apple for the win. And if you want to listen to all of this gaming and even content late at night without disturbing anyone, you can connect Bluetooth headphones and earbuds to both platforms, though only Apple supports spatial audio on tvOS 15 or later, using AirPods Pro, AirPods Max, AirPods Gen 3, or Beats Fit Pro. So, I hope that helps you get a sense of what using the mobile and accessory sides of Apple TV and Google TV via Chromecast are like. Do you have any questions that I didn't answer? Let me know in the comments below and I'll get to them. As always, love chatting with you all in the comments. You're a great group. I'm Tashaka Armstrong for Reviews.org. I've had a blast with you today. I'll catch you on the next video.